Hello, inquirer, or as I prefer to call you, future client. This is Scott Fagerland, small lawyer for small businesses. This video I hope will be useful for you if you're still thinking about whether to hire me or another attorney and you have questions about what to expect in the attorney-client relationship. You may or may not have consulted with me already. I think this video will provide useful information either way. This video will take you step by step through our future relationship. We will discuss the consultation, a post-consultation message, my rates, retaining me, how we treat small and large cases differently, and then a preview of what it's like to work together week by week. So let's start with a consultation. I offer a free 30-minute consultation, either in person, on the phone, or by video call. The consultation is intended to be a brief overview and introduction. 30 minutes goes quickly. It's not going to be time for detailed analysis of your case. Most clients, when they call, they have burning questions, and if I let them, they would often talk for 3 hours. So let me try to kind of tame you at this point and ask you, what are your top of mind big picture questions? In other words, why are you looking for an attorney? So we'll start there. I will be able to provide you with some immediate answers. Others will take further research. Hopefully at our consultation, we will be able to formulate our first step working together. That will be based on your main priorities and or deadlines and or what we might need to know before we proceed with other things. And then the consultation is also a very opportune moment to make payment arrangements, which I'll describe a little bit further in this presentation. After our free consultation, I will send you an email with an overview of the services that I can provide. The post-consultation message will focus on the first steps or priorities that we may have discussed in the consultation or that occurred to me later. In many cases, the business relationship extends further beyond that, but for the most part, we will try to at least figure out what our first steps will be right off the bat. So I'll send you a message that will include some time and cost estimates and your payment options. Payment options and rates are a little bit complicated. I do so to try to make things fair in all circumstances. So let's talk about my different rate structures. You will pay my base rate if you do not retain me, but prefer to prepay in small amounts instead. And in a law office, small is basically defined as under $1,000. So I'll have inquirers occasionally who don't have a whole lot of questions to work out, but they just maybe they would like me to review a document or send a letter or make a quick analysis of a trademark or something. It might only take about 2 hours, and maybe that will be the extent of our entire professional relationship. So in that case, it would be a little bit silly to go through a retainer process, and we'll just regard it as a small case. And you'd be paying the base rate, which is currently $300 an hour as of the time of recording in 2024. I don't change my rates very often. I kind of like keeping them modest, and I like keeping them steady. So I'm sure that'll be my rate for quite a while. Now, you do have a chance to earn a discounted reward rate, which is $50 an hour less than the base rate. And you can earn that by retaining me, which brings us around to the next topic. What exactly is a retainer? So retainer is legal fancy talk for essentially prepaying and or committing to work with an attorney. So I have two options for making your retainer. Plan A is to vault your credit card with me. This is my preferred option and it's my most popular. What does this mean, vaulting? It means that I will enter your credit card information into Square, which is my billing system. and I can enter, you can provide your credit card information to me either over the phone or by filling out some forms. Just request some forms and I can email them to you. I'm actually in the habit of emailing you these forms in Word format, Word document format, uh, the first time I email you. And you may basically fill those out and email them back to me. Now, those are not securely encrypted. If you prefer to provide your credit card information in a more secure manner, then you can request e-signed documents, which I'll send to you in the form of PDFs that you can email back to me, and they will be encrypted by Adobe. Or, of course, you can bring your credit card into my office or read the number over the phone. So one way or the other, after I have your information, it will be securely encrypted by Square. And what that basically means is that it's not on my system. Square handles the encryption and it's basically hack proof. So this is a nice, simple, slick system. It's very popular with my clients. It's, again, my preference. So unless you are very uncomfortable leaving your credit card with me, or in case you have credit card problems and your credit card keeps getting declined, then in fact you would lose your vaulting privileges. And then we could go to Plan B, which is the $1,000 surplus. Okay, so the Plan B retainer is just what it sounds like. It means that you would deposit $1,000 first, and then you would make your prepayments for services on top of that. So for example, if we had a 3-hour case coming up, you would pay me $1,000 base foundation, and then you would prepay me for 3 hours on top of that. Essentially, the purpose of retainer is to lower my risk and make the payments a little bit more quick and certain, and to keep things moving slickly. So, for example, if you did hire me for a 3-hour case, what would we do if it ended up being 3.5 or 4 hours? That if you hadn't prepaid me, then we'd have to stop, and you have to make another prepayment. Or what do we do when we're making a transition from one case to another? So basically, you will earn the reward rate as long as your balance is over $1,000. If the balance does start to dip below $1,000, then the billing kicks back up into the base rate. So that's how that plan works. By the way, in order to make your prepayment, you go to my website, fagerlinlaw.com/make-a-payment, and you can use your credit card or PayPal there. Of course, you can also send a check, which you can mail or bring into the office. I actually do have a client who regularly walks into the office and hands me a check, so that works too. Okay, in my office, I like to subdivide my cases into small and large matters because I treat them differently. A small matter is anything up to $1,000 or 4 billable hours. Small matters are generally flexible, and for that reason, there will be no formal contract involved. So we might know that we're going to be working on some services and have a general sense of what we're doing, but there might be contingencies, like we're maybe not sure if this issue is going to come up, or we have to do this step first before we get to that one. So those are the kinds of cases where contracts can get unnecessarily complicated if the case isn't that big. So these cases are not contractual. However, the services will be described and authorized in writing via email. So I will send you an email up front, and I'll try to describe the services to be described as clearly as possible. And all you have to do is basically send me an email back and say, yeah, that sounds great. I authorize this. I do not bill beyond the authorized and necessary amount. So if you only authorize 2 hours of billing, I will stop at 2 hours. If you authorize, let's say, up to 4 hours, and if the job only takes me 3, then I'll stop at 3. So anything that's authorized and necessary will be billed. After that point, we have to stop and renegotiate a new matter. The most common small matters would be things like discrete patent or trademark analysis steps. Let's say, for example, that you're interested in finding out whether you're infringing somebody's patent or whether this trademark name is available. Perhaps you're interested in having me look at a contract or send somebody a letter, or you might have a simple trademark application to file. These things don't take me very long, so that would be considered a small matter. So anything over $1,000 or 4 billable hours would be considered a large matter. Large matters do require a formal written contract, which I almost always send to you in e-sign format. The most common large matters in my office are patent applications and business entity formations. For example, if you're just starting a new business and you want help creating an S Corp and doing all the legwork to get it up and running, that's usually over $1,000 anyway. Many large cases can be discreetly broken into small steps. So we might have something coming up that I estimate is probably going to take 6 or 8 billable hours, but we can subdivide it into smaller cases, in which case we can consider each one a small matter, and the logistics would be a little simpler for that. Okay, week by week services. I bill weekly. Why weekly billing? Most attorneys bill monthly. Well, first of all, when I only bill weekly, it's easier for both of us to remember what I did. So you've probably been in a situation before where you get a bill from a lawyer and you don't even remember what they did a month ago. Weekly bills present smaller amounts, which are easier to pay than monthly bills. And then finally, administrative expedience. I don't have a secretary. I am my own secretary. And I find that it's more manageable to do my billing weekly than monthly. What you'll see each week. I handle my billing every Monday. So let's just run through an example where I provide services to you from Monday, July 1st through Sunday, July 7th. So what will happen then is on Monday, July 8th, I will send you an invoice. I send this through QuickBooks. This is a line item description of all the services I provided, including timestamps to the minute, as well as any fees that I've incurred on your behalf. You'll have a week to review the invoice, and then on Monday, July 15th, I will automatically charge your credit card if you vaulted one. This process, by the way, goes through Square, so you'd be seeing an invoice from QuickBooks, and then a credit card receipt from Square the following week. Correspondence. Billing first. Okay, so all correspondence, phones, emails, consultations, that is necessary for me to complete an active case is billable. I grant you an allowance for additional case inessential questions, requests, and status updates. I find that clients have a lot of questions that basically are for their own sake. They ask a lot of questions that really don't help me finish the matter, but they're common. So I do grant an allowance for those kinds of questions. I call it QRSTU. The allowance is 15 minutes a week for non-retained clients, and that doubles to 30 minutes a week for retained clients. As far as the logistics of correspondence, I recommend email. I check email once at the end of a workday, at each workday. I'm not a rapid-fire emailer because that can kind of consume the whole workday if I just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So basically, that'll be a weekly discussion. A daily discussion. You're certainly free to try calling me, but it is hard to reach me on the phone by chance. For prolonged conversations, I recommend scheduling a consultation. Sometimes it's a lot easier to talk things out face-to-face rather than emailing back and forth. Okay, those are the basics. I hope to see you soon. My contact information is on the screen. If you haven't been to my website yet, please visit. I have a lot of resources there. And if I haven't seen you yet, I hope to see you real soon. Bye now.